The only thing that I could, I suppose, offer, even though I'm coming from a place of ignorance, is the whole blockchain thing. What cryptocurrencies operate on. They have, the way Doug was explaining it to me last night is that the bank, there's one central organization that identifies how much is in your account, and some person within that organization could change it, and there's nothing you could say or do really about it, until after the fact. Whereas with a blockchain, it copies sort of your account information across almost like a public internet kind of thing, where you have multiple people all verifying the same transactional information. So it's just a million times harder to, you would need an army of like thousands of hackers to go into like millions of accounts. So it's basically impregnable from what I understand, at least right now. But that only applies to cryptocurrencies.
Okay, exactly what is cryptocurrency?
Doug thinks it's the future. I think it's the future. I think when we lose the Middle East finally and the dollar collapses, the crypto oligarchs are going to be in charge. That's my prediction, but who knows when that's actually going to happen.
But is it sort of like a Bitcoin sort of thing?
Yeah, with Bitcoin, Doug was telling me about another coin that he wants me to get in on, and he showed it to me last night, and right now it's only $1.18, so I could buy just fucking 10 of those things and wait 5 years and become a millionaire theoretically, but
Right.
yeah, so I'm not gonna go pell-mell onto it, but I am comfortable with diversifying, to something that's so fucking cheap. Even if I lose everything, it's not gonna cripple me.
Right. I mean, I'm lower than a pedestrian on this in terms of knowledge. I don't have any clue how it works whatsoever. But I know that one of the big health care management groups, Optum Healthcare, which oversees a bunch of them, has pulled some maneuvers this week that are probably totally illegal. They changed their name and overnight, and then they informed all their providers that they were going to be paying them in a form of virtual currency, whatever the hell that means, and nobody seems to understand it. So we're sort of all up in arms, and our lawyers for our associations are up in arms because they're not clear about what that means. What is virtual currency? I have no clue.
Right, and that's one of the big stigmas around it, is that for one thing, it's just used for a lot of illegitimate things, and that gives it a bad rep, even though you could, as long as whoever you're doing a transaction with accepts Bitcoin, you can use it.
Okay.
But I don't know how many people really do that at this point.
I was surprised to see it in the bank. I went into the bank for the first time in forever because I had to go inside, and I saw this Bitcoin machine. I thought, what the hell is this?
Huh. Weird.
But there it was.
Yeah, there's also mining Bitcoin and all these other things, but it's, as you say, it's not your forte, so we can move on to other agenda items if you want.
Yeah, before we do though, does that mean that they put something electronically like into your bank account? Sort of like an EFT?
You lost me. I don't know.
Okay. A lot of the people, a lot of the insurance companies have asked us, they don't want to send checks out. They just asked us to authorize an electronic funds transfer. So that instead of paying us, they put it in our account.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made for some massive errors. And this sounds like one step worse than that. Because they don't send out a statement to us or anything. They just say, okay, trust us. When we get the money from the insurance company, it'll go into your account.
Yeah.
Kind of bizarre, huh?
Pretty bizarre. It's also funny just because my mom was objecting to it last night. Doug had to gather us around the dinner table and educate us. And she said, it's just fake. It's fake money. And I just say to her, all money is fake.
Right.
If I pull out $100 bill, it's only $100 because we all agree to that. Otherwise, it's a useless piece of paper. You can wipe your ass with it or blow your nose, but that's about all its utility.
Right, exactly. Well, before we move on, did Doug explain it in a way that you could explain it to me in two sentences?
No.
Okay.
I'm just not knowledgeable enough about it at this point, but it is pretty interesting and stuff we can save for future conversations. But it's just been good having him over. We went through programming for an hour last night, which was really nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you had sent to me your list of goals and objectives here, which was very well done. Kind of blew my mind. It looked like a lot of work, that you put a lot of work into it.
It's just an expansion of a template I kind of already had before, and the only real item I added was the deep, quote-unquote, deep dives,
Okay.
where I pick a subject and spend a half hour to an hour on it, just learning it,
Okay.
sort of what can I figure out about this new topic that I know nothing about, within an hour. So maybe next week I'll do like Tamerlane, who was a Turkic Mongol conqueror that I know very little about but sounds super badass. But for this week I decided on Biden's bombing of Syria. And kind of a waste of time even looking into it, to be honest, because it's just it's practically a rite of passage for any new president. You gotta bomb something in the Middle East without congressional authorization to send a message to Congress and the rest of the world that, hey, I'm the president, I can bomb whoever I want, whenever I want.
Yeah, exactly. Except he's not calling the shots. The big question is who's really calling the shots in this administration. He's too shaky.
Yeah, that's the big question, and I have no idea. I heard that Kamala wasn't told about any of the bombings in Syria or privy to any of that, which upset her, I guess. But even if she ends up on the presidential stand, she just strikes me as someone who's not super strong-willed and independent, and someone who could, this is conjecture, but I get the sense from her, she's someone who deeply desires power, but is terrified of, the responsibility, basically. So she'll just do whatever the fuck she's told.
Yeah, she doesn't have the intellect either, really.
Yeah, I doubt it.
She doesn't understand international issues at all. Foreign policy and things like that.
Yeah, all she knows how to do is just fucking giggle like an idiot. I have a theory that she's perpetually on edibles, which is why she's always laughing at inappropriate times.
That's as good as any other theory, because she does. The clinical theory would be that she's anxious or nervous, and sometimes when people are really highly anxious, they giggle and laugh.
Yeah.
Which could be true, but that could also be because of the edibles.
But the thing is with her, it's just so constant. Like, there are people who linguistically sometimes laugh a little in their speech, and it's...
Right.
I think Andrew Yang's a good example of someone who does it naturally, where I'm making my point, but this thing, and it's kind of crazy, and, that sort of tone, where she just fucking laughs at literally every word that comes out of her own fucking mouth. It's just retarded.
Everything. It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
It's super fake.
A lot of people are speculating that Susan Rice is one of the power brokers in this administration. But we'll see. I mean, he is really he is a Saturday night sketch. They don't even have to do anything, just play his stuff, and it's hilarious, sad but hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it at all, but did you see that clip where Biden is like, okay, I'll take questions now, and then they just cut his camera and mic off instantly?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that to see if that's like real, or, because I do try to be cynical about, internet taking... It'd be really easy to cut that video right then and there and make it look like one thing, though I am totally open to the idea that any chance Biden says, hey, I'll take questions, just everyone around him is like, get him off the stage, cut his mic.
Yeah.
Get him out of there!
Bring out the hook, because he was so confused prior to that. I mean, very confused. He got fumbling with that index card he always has in his pocket, and didn't have the information. He wasn't getting people's names right, and he was all over the map, and it was really embarrassing. I felt bad for him. And then he was going to take questions, and I thought, oh, here we go. And then bang, the screen just goes black, you know?
Wild.
It was wild. It was wild. The last time I remember seeing that was with a newscaster, a black guy who just went crazy on TV, and they just took him off like that because he just couldn't stop. And he was on something, because he was rambling and carrying on, and it just kept escalating, and it's like, wow, they must have thought, holy shit, just get him off.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to cut someone's mic when they're ranting and raving, but
yeah.
It's quite another when it's like, okay, I'll take your questions now. Beep!
When you see that happen, you see those lines on the screen, it's like, holy cow.
Jesus
They took him off.
Yeah.
The President of the United States, they just zapped him out of there.
Because who wants a president that talks to the public ever? I like to know nothing about my presidents. I like no transparency. Just put him in charge, Bob. I trust him. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. What are you worried about?
Yeah, he's not running the show anyway.
Yeah.
Although Trump talked to a lot of people too much. He was just a non-stop reservoir of information.
Oh yeah,
that was his personality, though.
His personality to me is just like the endless riffing. There was something, I can't remember if it was Crowder or who made this observation, but he's the only fucking politician that will get on a stage, talk, and just be like, what else? Like, he's just literally going off fucking, just talking out his ass. It's great.
Oh, it's great. And they could go from, A to Z in terms of questions,
Yeah.
It could be like, what's your feeling about this situation in the Middle East? To, did you really let those girls pee all over you? It's like bang, 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 and he stays right with it.
Yeah.
Doesn't shut it down. He will be missed by the media big time.
Yeah, I'm trying to take bets on how long they're going to obsess over QAnon and the Capitol riot, and my guess is till at least midterms.
You think so?
Just my guess, but who knows? Something could always pop up but I think the new narrative is going to be domestic terrorism and, if these people are born in another country, we would just bomb the shit out of them, and it's so, yeesh, do you have any grasp of the implications of what you're suggesting? It's like the punch a Nazi thing, where it's like, okay, we'll punch a Nazi and just, all of a sudden the Nazi starts punching back, and it's like, whoa, why is he punching me back? What is terrorism?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's complete madness, but we always need an enemy, Every administration needs a scapegoat, so...
Have to have one.
And it's not like there weren't a few QAnoners that earned their fucking jail sentence, so...
Yeah, exactly.
But ruins it for everyone.
We talked about the phenomenon of scapegoating. I mean, there always has to be a scapegoat.
Oh, yeah.